Dolan, the founder of the Cursillo movement, and we're hoping, Eduardo, that you'll share with us some of the views of the important elements and aspects of the Cursillo movement. So maybe at the beginning, if I asked you to tell us a little bit about the beginning of the Cursillo movement.
I think, first of all, that I am not the founder. I think that the founder is the Holy Spirit. But the others are behind the Holy Spirit have been the prisoners and the persons that in his difficulties and his wrong things offered these pains for the éxito,
the well-being.
The well-being of the Cursillo movement. Estos son los que I always say that the Cursillo is like a cathedral, and the stones that are all the heavy of the cathedral are encima de las piedras. Son las piedras que no se ven.
The foundation.
The stones, yes, the stones that you cannot see are the stones that must be most heavy in order to have all the peso of the cathedral.
The base.
Sí, son las piedras que no se ven, son las que aguantan más peso.
Yes.
Esto es. Yeah.
Right, Eduardo, why do you think we need the Cursillo movement? Why should we have the Cursillo movement?
Yes, we say after two wars, the wars of Spain and the Mundial War, that the person do not have a nose in order a clear way for put his, we say his inquietudes, his anxious, he like a river want to have a way in order para ir, and we say that these persons do not know the law and do not know the message of Christ. And we say we must study the message of Christ in a way that must be attractive, must be synthetic, and must be in that time actual. We read all the persons that write of the Christian life, the Cardinal Mercier, the Cardinal Sueñes, el Padre Plus, Karl Rahner, Hugo Rahner, Romano Guardini, and I read all that, and we have a synthesis of what must be the Christian life, and that was the Cursillo movement. Mm-hmm. A message for the people of today now, not only in the church, it's in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you say that who then should do the Cursillo? Who is it aimed at?
Who
should do the Cursillo?
Yes.
What kind of people?
The Cursillo are three encounters. The principal thing is an encounter of anyone with himself. That is because many people understand that only is an encounter with the brothers, or an encounter with God. If they seems that is an encounter with God, the person is transformed in a mystic man. But the world are need mystic men. But if the person only has the encounter of the neighbor, he is an active man, but not deep, because the prayers and the united of Christ, it is not there. Must be an encounter of himself in order to know his qualities, in the more deep way that he can know that is in the light of Christ. And then they must accept his limitations, his things that are wrong of his life.
Eduardo, you speak sometimes about the Cursillo being for those who are far away from the church and for the young people.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, the Cursillo beginning with the young people, and we never want that the young people are aware of the Cursillo. But many persons that cannot understand the movement or do not want to understand, they say the Cursillo is for the person that are adults. I have seen in some countries that say for to make the Cursillo maybe 40 years, and I think that is a mistake. The Cursillo must be the young people and the adult people together, because that is very pedagogic, because the fathers know essence that are not his sons in the Cursillo movement, and the sons know parents that not are his parents, and that is very, very pedagogic, because when they go to home, they can understand better his son, because he knows the son of the others, and the father, the son knows the father of the others, and know better his father. But the young people must be protagonists of the Cursillo movement. The organization of a Cursillo, it is both the adult people and the young people. But the young people must be, I think it is very fine that the rector can be a young man and have in the shadow another man that is an adult man that can give his little consejos,
Support.
to
Apoyo.
to apoy the young that go to the Cursillo. And for the persons that are away of the church, of Stone, not of the church, because perhaps always are baptized these persons, but he not is in the practice of his Christian life. These are the best for the Cursillo movement, because the persons that are always in the parish, always near the priest, cannot understand the vision of the Cursillo movement in order to catch the persons that are away. Because it's rather a person that writes in a typewriter. If write with the two fingers, never write with all the fingers. And we say that the message is catch better for the people that are away, because in order to find a mitad of a Cursillo that was a person that is only a half Christian, it is difficult to find another middle for his Christian, but is more a new man, and the Cursillo make a new man if they are open to the grace. And that is one of the purpose of the Cursillo movement, that the persons that are aware, because they are informed, are bad informed or disinformed, can catch the message.
Then, Eduardo, from the beginning we had Cursillos for men and Cursillos for women. There's a tendency now to...
No, in the beginning was very difficult, because it was difficult to the men make the Cursillo, because the men do not want to make the Cursillo. I remember that Bishop Hervas was hard with the persons, adult, that cannot make the Cursillo. But then, in the time, they make the Cursillo. But the priest says that the women do not other persons to make the concilio, because in the group reunion must be a secret, and they says that for the women was very difficult to share the secret. I say it is not true. The women are like the men, and they can be in the secret. And for many years, we only have cursillo for men because was not permission for to be the cursillo for women. Was a wife that the men made the cursillo, and was the family was very friend of the Cardinal of Tarragona, and went because he said, my husband are changed, I cannot understand it. And this why you go to the Cardinal of Tarragona and says, if you do not give the permission to make the cursillo for women, I want to be divorced of my husband because I cannot understand him. And then they came to Mallorca, these women, with another two women came to Mallorca and speak with me, and I say, I am very glad to the cursillo for women, and make the first cursillo in Tarragona, because the Bishop Hervas do not want, not the Bishop Hervas, the priests that were surrounding Bishop Hervas do not want the cursillo for women. Person then have been a leader of the cursillo, Father Capot, and do not want cursillo for women, but then one when was.
Yes, yeah. But now, Eduardo, in some countries there's a tendency to have mixed cursillos. What's your view on that?
Oh, I think that is a grave mistake, because a mixed cursillo is not a cursillo. It's a social thing that can be better can be a good thing for many kind of persons, but for the persons, for the young people, and for the persons that are away of the church, it is that is a danger for the cursillo movement. In Spain, the cursillo do not have the pull necessary because are mixtos, and is a social thing. Nobody remember the date exactly that they made the cursillo. For me, is a grateful thing, a very glad thing, a very cheerful thing, when a person says, I am of the cursillo that day, that month, and sometimes in this hour I make the cursillo. In Spain it is not possible, not in all Spain, in several places they make the cursillo mixtos. The cursillo mixtos was because they do not catch the idea of the cursillo. And they say, we will make a thing that it is in the parish, we some men and some women, and we send to the cursillo, and the parish will be better because they will be more enthusiastic. But it is not that the cursillo. The cursillo changed the men and changed the woman, and that is true. Then can make reunion and go to the ultraia, but never forget to make the cursillo. They can be a back person, but always remember. I find a prisoner that made a cursillo and he remember Christ and remember always, because have been an encounter of himself with Christ. Not a social thing, a good thing. No, a deep encounter with Christ.
Yes.
That changed his life.
Yes, Eduardo. What about the best way of attracting people to the cursillo?
I think that is contagious, the cheerful that the person, we can contage to the others, the feast to believe in Christ. They say, what is your life? You are always cheerful. You are always happy. What is the way? And we say, you must go to the cursillo. No, you come with me and I will go with you to the Ultreia, and you can be, if Ultreia is properly Ultreia, that the people are, his life of courage is a feast for everybody. And see the Ultreia, one person says, the world is bad, the man is bad, always is dark, always either clouds in the life, and you can see people that are happy because he have the faith of Christ, the way of Christ, the life of Christ, and the dynamism of Christ.
So it's the joy that attracts people. Now, Eduardo, the precursio we talk about, would you like to say something about the precursio? The precursio. The preparation.
The preparation of the Cusillo.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that it is necessary to be the preparation, because I say that we must make the bridge before come the train, and we make the bridge for the conversion, and must be naturally this person. If I drunk or a drug, it is danger to put in the Cusillo, but we can love him for a year and another year. We have persons that once upon a time was a drunk man, and now are in the secretariat, are a very good man. But the change was not in the 3 days of the Cusillo, was before the Cusillo, and then after the Cusillo, we love him in order to be near him, for the love and for the permission of our songs and our ideas. They are not now, I know.
Yes. And the precursio. The Cursio itself then, on the weekend, would you like to say something about that?
The Cusillo is not for 3 days, is for have a view of the gospel, of the Christian people, of the church. Always that is new, because the vision is deep, and then change the vision. And the vision are near him all his life. You understand? No es un acontecimiento de la vida, es tomar la vida como un acontecimiento.
It's not just a matter of knowing things, but it's kind of living out what it's saying, living out the things.
It is not a project that always we make a project, living. Not is a thing that we do and it is finished. No, we begin the Cusillo, and the Cusillo are a project of all the life.
Yes.
And is the assurance of the happy life for always, forever.
Yes. We should touch on the perseverance, maybe. You'd like to say something about the group reunion, maybe.
Well, the group reunion must be natural. The group reunion not be imposed for the leaders. The group reunion is the friendship that born in the Cusillo, and we must go with the river have a cauce, rio que tiene un cauce.
Flow. The flow of the river.
No flow, the river is fluid.
Yeah.
No, es el cauce, el lecho del río,
Sí.
el lugar donde el río va.
Yeah, the direction.
Yes.
We make a lech for the convention, for the conviction of the person, and for the conversion of the person. We mean that's a river that has the lech to go away.
Yes.
It is fluent.
Yes.
Understand?
And that's the group
Yes,
reunion.
and that is the group reunion. The group reunion is the same that the Cusillo do not finish. Continue with the friendship, with the vision of Christ and the vision of the neighbor, the same that he ever had in the 3 days of the Cusillo.
Yes.
But when the leader say, you with you and you make a good reunion, not other friendship. The friendship is born in the Cursillo and in the Estrellas, and how we say, you are Cursista, and I also, oh, we can make group reunion, because in the reunion of the friendship of always change in a group reunion. You understand? It is not easy, but it is wonderful, because the leaders in the Utrella said, one and one, you like the guitar, and you also like the guitar, and you present this, because we do not look to everyone to make his group. He will find, if a protagonist, he will buscar,
look for, seek.
Pick the group reunion.
He pick his own.
Yes, if you give a group reunion to other person, it's like to look for his sweetheart.
Yes.
It is not, it is, that is personal.
Yes. Yes, yes. So I know you have a group reunion yourself of how many years, Eduardo?
For more than 60 years, yes. When the Cursillo is a son of the group reunion, because first was the group reunion, and then was the Cursillo. Yes.
And
We make the group reunion every week. Yes. We go to Mass together, and then we have the group reunion.
And then the Ultrea, Eduardo, sometime.
The
Talk a little bit
Ultrea,
about the
I
Ultrea.
think it is the piece of the cultural movement that always the person cannot understand that. To be together, it is only the friendship of to be together. Not is necessary a little breakfast or a little some sweets and some cakes to go to Utreya. No, the Utreya is for find one and another and to be very happy because they are together. And that is the Utreya. Because the person have two dimensions. The personal dimension that is given for the group reunion. And every time that he have his group reunion, the encounter of himself is a not encounter, is friendship with himself, and friendship with the brothers, and friendship with Christ.
Yes.
But they have another dimension, is the social dimension. We can say no alone with the others, shake hands with the others, and that is the Utreya. There are many persons that can't live how I live, and I must contact the message to these persons in order they can be happy as we make the Utreya.
How often should the Ultrea be held? What do you think?
We have the Utreya every week, because if you have many months, one forget 1 month, another 2 months, and the devil do not have the vacations of Christmas and any vacations, and the summer vacations.
Yes.
It is necessary to.
So weekly. And what the witness talk? Would you like to say something about the testimonial of
Yeah,
the
the
siesta?
talk must be not San Agustin says, and Luke says, and St. Peter says, and the Gospel says. How I'm saying to you, how you to live the life of Christ in your interior, in your family, in your business, in your neighbors, and that is the role of the Utreya. Not a consideration theory, a piece of the life, the practical life of him.
Know it all his life, not his all his life. He doesn't have to tell his whole life story.
Yes, no, not like a story, no. It is, before going to Concilio I was this, and now I am this, can give this message, But he must speak of his own wish in the trade.
Yes. Eduardo, will you talk to us a little bit about the leadership of the Cursillo and the school
Yes.
of leaders?
The
Just
leadership
that aspect.
is necessary because the old trader must be something like the Cursillo. Like the Cursillo. The leader must be in the old trader. It's more difficult one old trader and the Cursillo because the Cursillo always are previsto todo. The bridge is put in the Cursillo. But never we have the bridge, the properly bridge to stay in the old trader. But the old trader as the life of everyone. That the life of everyone go to the life of the city. And the city go to the old trader and the old trader go to the city. For the leaders man and the person that are in the Cursillo, in the old trader, if not other leaders. But because if you have only the school of leaders for to go to the Cursillo, when you make a Cursillo, you have a Cursillo, we say in a month we make a Cursillo. Everybody want to be in the school of leaders. But when you pick the diligence, the leaders, we say, oh, I want to not go to the school because I am not leader for to go to the Cursillo.
Yes.
And is empty the school. And then when there is the date of the Cursillo, come in order to go to the Cursillo.
Yes.
No, the leaders are division are the leaders in the Cursillo, as in the Cursillo.
Yes.
And they do. The Utrella is burned because are the leaders.
Yes.
Are there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
There's a tendency to put great emphasis on the Cursillo, on the weekend.
Yes,
That's has been a problem, I think.
yes, they can go. If not many people can go to the Utrella without making the Cursillo. But 3 or 5, with a guide, can go to the Utrella to see the people and to know the people of the movement. And perhaps a candidate go to the, oh, I know this man, and this man can speak about him, what is the Cursillo movement.
Yes, yes. So what you're saying is that people can go to the Otrea before they do the Cursillo. A few people.
Yes, few people,
people.
not a many
Not
people
many,
there.
not many people.
Some.
Yeah, yeah. Just another aspect, Eduardo, on the secretariat. I know you have.
Yes, the
used
secretariat is for to be the persons that are not the police of the message, but it is necessary to be the police of the message, because the message is, we have the first idea, and in the encounter of Majorca, said it is necessary to make a book with the fundamental ideas. We make some that were very interesting for the Cursillo movement, with the first fundamental ideas. But then come priests, not law men, priests, 1 or 2 law men like a priest, in order to the priest, and made the fundamental ideas the second edition, and other a clerical edition for the church, not for the world, for the church. And that is a change. Now they want the second ideas and not the first, because the first are very, very hard in order to go to the world. And with the message of Christ directly. And the seconds are, well, you must be a good man, you must be a good woman, and you go to the church, and you go to, but it is not that you want only. You must go this, you must make that, but more than that, because the world is our way.
Yes.
Not the world of that the priests are showing us. They make a trajectory, a way, but we have all the world for our way.
So if you were to say for the future of the Cursillo movement,
Yes, I
What do
think
you
that
want?
the gospel has, the future is in the gospel, because the persons, I think that the mistake is that Christ came to the earth for save the world, is for save the man, and the man will be saved for Christ with the gospel, and that will be in the future. And if the men go to the moon, in the moon will be the same solution, Christ. I think it is that. The future is the gospel, because no any way is possible to all the sins added to the heart of the man that are of Christ. For in the man, I think the rectly is the reflection of the sisters of Lazarus, Martha and Maria. If you have been here, our brother will be not dead. And that is the way. And the world is bad because nobody has Christ in his mind and in his heart. And Christian people have a middle of the gospel, not total gospel. The things that are convenient for him, like in a self-service, I like that, and that do not like.
A la carte.
Yes, they make like a self-service the message of Christ. I like the power, I like to be the first, I like to be better, the best, and that is not the way of the way to be happy is honor, and for that the world are not happy, because they find ways that not the truth and not the light and not the way, the dynamism of the grace.
Eduardo, a few words of advice. There are people who would like to relaunch the Cursillo movement in areas. You know, what would you say to those? The best way of going about
I'm
it?
saying that the best is the testament, I always say the same, of Christ. We do not be afraid, and we must love one another, and we must be happy in our life of grace. And that is the way, because that is contagious. When a person makes that in his life, the others says that in the time of Christ, where you live and why you are so happy. And we say the way is that and that. Understand?
You mentioned the other day that Cursillo isn't just for the parish, it's bigger.
Yes, it's bigger than the parish, because I have been in the 5 continents of the world, and all the priests want the Cursillo, the generosity of the Cursillistas for his parish, and never go away of his parish. We have anecdotes for express that. We have a man that was a police and always beat to the prisoners and beat to the person that robbed and that. And they make a procedure and says, oh, I want to change and must change my fellows police. And we pray for the policemen in order to have 1, 3, or 5 that are very good men and are police, Christian police. But he came to the school leaders, and I was very afraid of him. But once, do not come. And I say, what is that? You do not come. Oh, my parrocho, my parish, have picked me to the catechesis. And I say, It is a pity because the catechesis can give a lady of the parish. The priests do not know this police before go to the Concilio. But now the Concilio give this man, and he cuts this man not for the Concilio, for the well, not for the well, for the parish. You understand? It is a pity. The same very rich people have been in the Concilio. I remember now the more people rich of Barcelona, of a person that have many industries, many people, many things, and they come to the Concilio, and he was always travel, and sometimes called me by telephone from Switzerland and from London and from Paris, and was a very good man. But when come to the parish, you must go to the catechesis, and then 1 month, 2 months, go away. He come to Majorca, many times say, that is not for me to stay here. I want a well. And what interesting if there are concilios in London, if there are concilios in Switzerland, but no, the parish, you understand? And it is a pity that.
It's one thing I've heard priests say, that the Cursillo take people away from me, from my parish.
Oh,
you know, the priest says that.
Or no, because they do not know these persons. Before they go to the Concilio, the parish do not know. Because sometimes, it's that, sometimes the persons that are in need, the priest, make the Concilio, and go away of the priest and say, I prefer the wall, but I think it is not covered. The priests have the persons. Yes, it's the contrary.
Yeah. For the future, Eduardo, of the Cursillo
I think
movement.
that the future always is Christ. I think that not this millennium and another millennium is the same. I think that men not change with a millennium, the men change with the gospel of Christ. And if that is his mind, not religious people, people that have the faith of the gospel, the faith of the gospel. That is the solution. The solution forever. The solution now and the solution for the future will be many, because I am very happy with computers, with global communications, instantaneous communication, and that is very can help the gospel. All that. I think that all can get the gospel. The jets to be, if I once upon a time came here to Ireland, perhaps 2 days or 3 days or 5 days, I don't know, and in the plane 2 hours and 2 hours extra. And I think it is better. But the solution not is to go one seat and another with less time. The solution is always Christ. To love the neighbor, to love Christ, and to love himself. Because the Christian people sometimes do not love him. And now the psychological man discovered that if a person do not love him, cannot love the neighbor. And that is true. I know a person that not love him and do not love the neighbor. The person that were the chef of novitiate sometime do not love the person, but always restitution. It was a very wrong thing.
I think that's a very good point, Eduardo, on which to end. And can I just thank you very much?
Because
thank you very much for coming to Ireland to share with us.
For me, it is not difficult to come in because I am in good health, and my life is for everybody. Yes.
So I just want to thank you very much for
No,
coming, and we certainly
yes,
enjoyed
to the
this.
father also.
And to Father Pather, yes, Bertie.
The father that made the video because I speak with him.
And
He's a very clever person. A
That's
very
right,
kind person.
for Luke. So we thank Luke as well, and thank you, Eduardo. And unfortunately, you have to leave us now and go back to
I
your
want that the
school.
Fusillo movement must be clear, must be simple, must be deep, and not must be with political things. No, must be clear as the gospel.
Thank you, Eduardo.